Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Talk Show with me, your host, Yvonne Gorman, powered by Essential Print Services based on Pride Park in Derby. This is Series 6, Episode 3, with the lovely Craig from Yarda. Hello, good morning, Craig. How are you?
Morning, I'm doing well, thank you. Yes, I'm doing well.
If you're watching this live or on catch up, we would love to hear from you as always. So please send your comments and questions in and tell StreamYard who you are so we can see who you are and give you a big shout out on the show. This is live, it's unedited, unscripted, so anything can happen, which is always very exciting in the world of TV shows. So over to you, Craig. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'm Craig Picton, and I am part of a team that run an alcohol-free bar and online store in Derby City Centre. So we're based on Green Lane, just off sort of the main high street, and we have a brilliant space on Green Lane where we have a bar on Friday and Saturday nights that's always open, that we run alcohol-free.
Where does the word Yarda come from?
Yarda is a Hebrew word. It means to know. It's like a deeper connection. So the idea is you're not drinking, you can have better conversations with people, you can get to know people better, and it's all about sort of having better conversations.
I love that, Craig. I didn't know. Do you know what I thought it was? I
No?
thought because you're encouraging conversations at Yarda, and when people talk, they go yada 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 yada. I thought that's where it came from, but that is just I love that. I've got goosebumps thinking about that reasoning. So before we went on air, Craig, I asked you a personal question. Do you drink alcohol?
I do drink alcohol.
And that surprises me. So tell me how you got to where you are today then.
Yes, so 4 or 5 years ago, maybe even more, when I was at uni with one of my best mates, Rondell, I led the Christian Union Society, he led the rugby club, and we were throwing ideas at each other as to what we could do as some sort of collaborative society and sports club event. He had a few sober rugby players, but obviously the rest of the rugby culture was very drink heavy.
Yeah.
And a lot of the Christian Union didn't drink, but wanted that sort of social life still. So it was all about coming up with some sort of space in the city that was socially available to people in the evenings, that wasn't focused around the drinking, didn't have all the peer pressures of the drinking. So originally it was based on who we can, like the people that we know that are sober, and how we can bring them into our sort of friendship groups. And then from that, we've done a few pop-ups over the years, and finally we settled on this space that we were given, sort of worked with the landlord for just over a year ago. So that's the story of Yarda so far.
So you opened during lockdown?
We opened during lockdown, yeah. We opened a few months ago now. We had to do a lot of renovation of the building before that, but yeah.
Gosh, that is such a brave move. Did you
Hospitality
feel brave
in lockdown. We actually found that opening during lockdown really helped us. None of us have done hospitality before, so there's a huge amount of learning to do in that process. So almost having a little bit of a slow start really helped us grow into what we're doing and how we're getting on. We're aware that the alcohol-free scene is also a slightly more niche scene, so it's been brilliant to sort of have that time to really build our audience.
That's fantastic. So what do you stock there at Yarda, Craig?
We stock loads of drinks. I've brought a few of them with me. So beers.
A virtual taste test.
We've got a lot of beers, ciders. We do cocktails as well. They're really popular. This Van der Streek is a non-alcoholic IPA, which is really nice. I'm off screen. There we go. And when we do our cocktails, we don't just remove the alcohol. We actually replace the alcohol with an alcohol-free spirit of some kind. So this is a spirit from Lyre's, which is a gin equivalent. And we've got a pink gin and rum alternatives as well. So we've got all different types of alcohol-free alternative drinks.
What about fizz? What about fizz, Craig? Do you do the no prosecco?
We don't do a current. We do. You've got me. We do. We've got a couple of wine. We've got a prosecco, and we've got sort of some more sparkling wine as well. There are rosés coming that we know of. So and even a red proper. So yeah.
So what are your current opening times at the moment?
Current opening times are Friday and Saturday nights, 5 till 11 p.m. But we are available to hire. The venue is available to hire. So this last 2 weeks, we've had a lot of the student union societies booking us out for their events, and we've had events nearly every day the last 2 weeks. So.
Oh, fantastic! So is it your full-time occupation?
This is my part-time occupation, and I've started another business because I'm completely crazy, doing digital marketing things, almost on the side.
Oh wow! What was your situation, Craig, before you launched Yarda? I think some people's perception of starting their own business is that you have to have loads of money behind you or a huge business plan. What was your personal situation like? What sort of risks were you taking when you took that leap of faith?
Huge amounts of risk. We're all young as directors, so there's not a huge amount of financial backing behind us, and we're all really inexperienced in terms of running businesses. Myself, I was working at Status Social, local social media agency, and I'd worked there for 3 or so years, and I decided it was time to move on to something different. Yarda had been building in the background, and we'd been doing pop-up events, and I decided it was time to take the leap. My wife was pregnant at the time, so it was all kicking off, middle of the pandemic, and I decided, you know what, why not just go for it? So,
yeah. So you're inexperienced. You've experienced yourself. No experience in the hospitality sector. Why do that to yourself? What are you hoping to get out of all this?
So, as I said, we'd been doing the pop-up events, and they've been going really, really well. And the building sort of came at almost the perfect time as when I was looking to move on from Status Social. So it was almost a now or never kind of moment where it was either we pack Yarda in and decide, okay, the pop-ups were a brilliant thing to do, but let's move on to something else. Or it was a case of let's lean into really doing up this venue and taking it and seeing how far we can go with it. So really it was a case of a do or die situation. Let's either go into it full on or leave it. And we decided to go for it.
You mentioned that the building came up just at the right time. Explain what you mean by that. How did it sort of land in your lap like that?
So it's all down to our connections that we've got. So we were part of a project from Derby City Mission, one of the local charities, and through a few things, they decided that they were going to wind down Yarda as a project, but we as the current leaders of it weren't keen on that. So we decided that we would really push into it. And Julio, the head of Derby City Mission, had a connection with the landlord of this building.
And what a character!
Well, exactly, what a character!
He is.
Yeah, he's been a brilliant asset to us as the team to really come alongside us.
Shout out to Julio!
Shout out to Julio! Yeah. So he sort of put us in contact with the landlord, who's been brilliant. He's really keen on developing local sites and seeing them put to good causes and sort of being able to see them renovated, but then also put into causes that are going to actually make a difference to the life of the city.
That's fantastic. So you're making the money from the beverage sales. Are you hiring out the space? Are you charging for that as well?
Yes, so we're hiring out the space. We've obviously got the bar sales. And we've got an online store as well where we're selling the drinks. Particularly through lockdown, that we found as we were still getting the building ready and we weren't able to open yet because of COVID. We threw ourselves into the online store to bring in some sales that way.
And are you getting your hands dirty, Craig? Are you picking and packing yourself?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, good, excellent.
We do have a team now as well, but yeah, we're all sort of getting our hands dirty. There's too much to do to not.
Yeah. Fantastic. My next question, I think we've already covered it, is about why start a business during lockdown, and you've mentioned already. It allowed you to do that really slow start from having that inexperience, how to sort of, practice your way through to, now expertise at it. A lot of learning and the opportunity with the building. Is there anything else? Any other reasons why you did it when you did it?
those are the main reasons. And just as you said, being able to have that slow start gave us that extra confidence. It gave us the ability to our launch night didn't have to be the big thing. We could do a sort of trickle start. As I said, it was all about building that community of people that are likely to become our regulars over time. It just removed a lot of that pressure, actually.
The pressure was on in a way to get the money in, but also pressure was off in another way, because it gave you that time and space to get yourself bedded in. So that's an interesting one. That is an interesting one. So you've now been open for just over a year. What have you learned about yourself?
Oh, so much. I've grown in confidence hugely. Things even like this call is something that I've dabbled in the past, but not. I wouldn't have thrown myself quite into it as much as I am now. And all sorts of from sort of networking with people to really going out there and speaking to people, particularly about the venue hire and that sort of thing. It's just I've learned so much about myself in terms of confidence and the fact that I can do it, even though I'm young, even though I'm inexperienced. That if you throw yourself into it, you can pull things off.
And you clearly have the passion for it, which is a theme that runs through most of the interviews in the Tuesday talk show. If you're passionate about it, you will find a way, and you will make it work. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, we are so keen on seeing that alternative space being available in the city and beyond the future cities as well.
No, it's fantastic. It's a fantastic initiative, fantastic idea. I absolutely love it. So what is the hardest thing about owning your own company? If the people are watching this episode and they're thinking about starting their own business, what sort of pitfalls should they be avoiding? What's the hard things that they need to know about?
Ooh, so many. As I said, I'm learning all the time. So
I think and I've been doing it for 10 years. We never stop learning.
Yeah, I think for me, running a business, your head is in so many different places. There's so many different things that are just popping off, even from paying the bills to hiring someone new to sort of developing a new drink. There's so many different things that go on. So I think that's one of the sort of biggest challenges to get around. But if you stay focused, if you've got strategies in place to almost be able to put some of those extra things aside and they say, actually, no, that's not something for me to do. That's someone else in the team is covering that, so I don't need to think about it. It doesn't need to use up headspace for me. They're really good ways of tackling those.
That's a really good point. I think a lot of people that I talk to, they have staff and they're getting better or they're good at delegation, but just having it still in your head as a thing to do, and like you said, allowing it to come out of your head, so you've got more space to think about what you should be thinking about. That is a really good top tip.
Yeah.
So, okay, what's the good stuff? Why should people be encouraged to start their own businesses? People might have been, they might be facing furlough right now, and maybe redundancies at a good time, perhaps, to start your own business and take that side hustle into a main form of income. What's the good stuff?
Yeah, for me, the good stuff particularly is the freedom of being able to spend time with the family when I need to, but then also invest in the business when I need to. Just gives you that a bit of flexibility. Obviously, having a young daughter now, being able to do the nursery run and those sort of things, being able to sort of spend a little bit of extra time in the morning or popping home earlier in the evening. That's the best thing it's given me at the moment, that flexibility to be able to do things as and when I need them.
Again, that's another theme that's running through a lot from the Tuesday Talk Show episodes. It's the freedom. I always mention it's freedom if you choose to be free with your time and be disciplined with your diary. The past month for me has been extremely busy, and I could sit here at my desk till all hours. But I've been there in the past, and I know that that's not a very healthy thing to do. So forcing yourself to take that freedom, because if that's what you're starting a business for, then you've got to take it.
You've got to take it, otherwise you'll miss it. Yeah,
otherwise you'll miss it completely. Absolutely. That's interesting, because no one really says it's the money. So what are we doing? What are we doing for?
It may well become the money in years to come. But right now, it's not the money.
I think one person has said, "Oh, it's because the lifestyle." That's all they touched on. They didn't say, "Oh, it's because I've got a load of money in the bank." No one really says that. So it's really interesting how it's the more holistic side of business that people choose to say that the advantages. So we're sort of halfway through it. And again, it always flies by on the Tuesday Talk Show. And if you're not watching this live or on catch up, we would love to hear from you. Please send in your comments and questions. But now it's the time of the show where Craig is going to ask me anything. This is where I have no idea what my guest is going to ask me. So I'm not prepared at all, a little bit nervous. So Craig, over to you.
We've kind of touched on it just now, actually, but my biggest thing was going to be, how do you find balancing life, work, all of the other things that come into play, and so have you got any strategies that you can give to people?
Gosh, I'm pretty rubbish at it, actually. I can't seem to have that balance between work life and home life, and it be sort of like equal. I don't think that's even possible. And if people do master it, I'd love to hear from them. It's about being disciplined, that we just touched on with your time. I'm focused on rebuilding my business right now, so it is all business. But also, like I've mentioned, in the early days of running the company, I would feel extremely guilty about taking any time off whatsoever, even at weekends or in the evenings. I'd have my tea and go straight back to the computer again till about midnight, and to the point where you're typing and I'm like falling asleep at my computer. That's not healthy. So I stopped doing that with the help of a coach at the time, just put some strategies in place where I didn't feel so guilty, and it was okay to take some time off. And that's really, really useful. But like we mentioned, you've got to be so disciplined with your time, and that you've got a commitment now with your little girl, and you've got a wife, so you've got to make time for them. So it's and also having really good customers who understand where you're coming from. So if you are having to call them, in odd places at odd times, that's fine, and then you can answer the phone, vice versa. So I haven't really got an answer to that because I haven't really sussed it out myself. But you just find your own sort of groove, don't you, with that? So thanks for your question. Ooh,
yeah, good.
You, both focus is back on you now, Craig, and I don't like it. Bat it back to your side. What's your biggest challenge right now? Perhaps people watching this live or on catch up may be able to help you. People have helped one of my guests in the past. So what's your biggest challenge right now in business?
Ooh, okay. Two things I'll say. Two challenges. First one's a very practical one. It's down to we're running out of storage. If anyone's got any good, cheap storage, let us know.
Storage, anybody? We're on any spare space.
Preferably local to us, but yeah, it doesn't have to be. So if anyone's got any storage, I'm sure that's a practical one. And then the other one, I suppose, it's going to be a bigger one to overcome, but it's the perception of alcohol-free drinks, and it's huge for us because obviously our entire niche is around that. But many people that have got Beck's Blue, have got maybe even Heineken Zero on their sort of thoughts as soon as they think of alcohol-free drinks, or that cheap mocktail that someone's given just as an afterthought. So we really want to be able to get these drinks into people's hands and be able to show people that actually it is a healthier option that tastes good. And over the last few years, there's been huge amounts of development in these drinks. So I suppose it's the perception of alcohol-free drinks are no longer rubbish.
And absolutely, you've got Sip Smiths and things like that, which are alcohol-free and taste amazing.
Yeah.
So how are you going to do that? Are you going to offer some free, tasting networking evenings? How are you going to get that community through the door to taste for the first time?
We've got lots of ideas. I mean, a good example was when we did Green Lane Day. So a lot of the shops on the street got together, and we did sort of almost a fair on the street a few weeks ago now. And we were doing tasters then, and we were able to give people some drinks to to try, and everybody's reaction as soon as they've had it, they've had a sip of it, they're like, wow, okay, I can drink this. This is a brilliant drink. It tastes almost identical to, if not better than the alcohol alternative. Why am I drinking alcohol? Is often the question that we get after somebody's drunk it. So yeah, we've got lots of ideas coming up that we're hoping to be able to go out into a lot of different places to be able to offer people the opportunity to try the drinks.
Have you had any customers experience sort of because they're in that environment and they're having something that tastes like alcohol? Has anyone said to you, "Oh, I actually feel a little bit drunk"? That just your brain sort of tricking you into thinking that you are drinking alcohol. Have you?
Lots of people have said that. Yeah. That they, as you say, that the feeling of I'm drinking a beer. I've got a beer in my hand. Actually, this is my second or third one now. I'm starting to feel a bit lightheaded, but I'm not lightheaded. I know I'm not lightheaded. So it does trick you a little bit into it. So, and which has been an interesting topic to cover in terms of those that are addicted to alcohol, because for many people, alcohol-free drinks are a good way of coming off the alcohol, but for many it is a trigger. So there's lots of things to discuss there.
I think we need to get some sort of psychologist or someone studying the mind from Derby University to sort of come in and do a talk about what that's all about, because
that would be brilliant. Yeah,
that would be absolutely fascinating. So anyone that can help Craig with those issues, please do get in touch with us.
Yes.
So we mentioned before, Craig, if people are thinking about turning their side hustle into a full-time venture and taking that leap of faith, from your experience, what advice would you give someone starting out right now? And when do they know that they're ready?
You won't know you're ready, as a bit of advice. You won't. I don't feel ready even now, and I've been doing it for a year. You're just going to have to jump into it. You won't feel ready. But I suppose the biggest thing that you can do is bring people around you. We've had a load of support for a Yada of people just sort of chipping in ideas or helping us out with finding us connections and that sort of thing. So get the right people around you. But you won't feel ready. So don't wait until you feel ready.
When you mention, that's a good advice, actually, don't wait till you feel ready. Don't wait till it's perfect until you go for it. Okay, you say just jump into it. What would the very first step be for you? For
me, I suppose if I'm jumping in, if you're looking to, the first decision is, are you going to do it alone or are you going to do it with a few other people? And if you're doing it with those few other people, talk to them first, obviously. make sure it's right with them as well. But then from a practical perspective, I'm a digital marketer at heart, so make sure that you've got your branding and your social media, your website, all of that is sort of the first few things to be getting on with, and then just move on from there. Tick off each step.
Personal question, but do you and your fellow directors have any sort of legal paperwork in place to say, do you have like something on paper to say the decision making comes down to that particular person, and do you have some legal stuff in place to cover yourselves?
We do, yes. Nothing that sort of pins it on each individual person of the team. We're in it together, we feel. But yeah, we've got a few
You went through that process and you've got something in writing that with directorship. Yeah. That's always a very wise thing to do. So how the business look like when it's done? Is there an end goal in mind? Are you wanting this to be franchised? What's the end goal?
Franchise has been spoken about. We are keen to be able to provide an alcohol-free alternative in as many cities as possible. So Derby's the start because that's where we all sort of are at the moment. But yes, more cities will hopefully come, and we're looking at other particular events that alcohol-free fits in terms of festivals, racing events. There's loads of different areas where we're looking to expand. So for us, it's done when people anywhere, I suppose, have that ability to be like, yes, I can go out, I can socialize, I can connect with people in the evening, without the pressure of alcohol. It's a huge mission, but it's
a huge mission, but a really fulfilling one as well. Do you have your sights on any particular location as your next Yarder?
Nothing just yet. We've had lots of options as to, that might work there. Actually, there's a really big alcohol-free audience there. So again, if anyone has another venue that they're keen on sharing with us, let us know. But at the moment, we're open to anywhere.
We're open to anywhere. Fantastic. What's on your bucket list then, Craig? What's left for you to do? You've got loads of time with you, so I'm sure you've got a massive bucket list. But what would you like to be achieving in the next few years?
Yeah, so I think I just mentioned it. I think the festivals is another big thing for us. Obviously, the alcohol issues and everything that comes with a festival is so focused on the alcohol. But we want the music scene to be able to be a place that, again, there's no pressure. You can drink, you don't have to drink.
Yeah.
Both options are available. So I think, the festival scene for us is going to be a big one.
Especially for designated drivers as well. We don't, designated drivers don't always want to drink Coca-Cola or lemonade. They want a sophisticated drink just as much as anyone else does.
Absolutely. There's so many different, the audience is huge for alcohol-free drinks. There's lots of people in different religions that don't drink. There's pregnant people. There's people that have struggled with alcohol or their parents have struggled with alcohol and they're wanting to avoid it. There's people that just aren't interested in getting drunk. So those
people do exist, and I know a few of them.
I'm one of them. So I drink, but I don't heavily drink. And there's plenty of people of all different types, and the more that we're open as a bar, the more people that we're meeting, the more different varieties of people that are coming in and saying, actually, this is perfect for me.
That's amazing. What capacity have you got at Yarder? How many people can you fit in?
We're looking at 50 seated and 70 standing.
Gosh.
So it's pretty good.
We've got a good capacity.
Both a downstairs and an upstairs. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, Craig, we're going to wrap up now. We've absolutely flown through the Tuesday Talk Show as we always do. If you're watching this live or on catch up, please press the like button, send a comment and question. We'd love to hear from you. Craig, where can people find you if they want to get in touch?
Brilliant. So yardercollective.co.uk is our website, and then Yarder Collective on as many of the socials as you know of, and we'll be there. So just nice and easy handles there. I wonder. I mean, come from a social media background, I can tell. Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to wrap up now, Craig. We're going to come back to you for your very final thoughts. So have a little think about that whilst I wrap up the show. This has been the Tuesday Talk Show, powered by Essential Print Services. Please, if you love the show, there's more to be viewed on the Tuesday Talk Show YouTube channel. Click the like and subscribe button to be notified about future episodes. So over to you for your final thought, Craig.
Yeah, so I suppose my final thought is give an alcohol-free drink a try. Don't be sort of turned off just because it doesn't have any alcohol in it. Give it a try. They taste brilliant.
Give it a try. That is a really good sales pitch, Craig. That's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. It's been fantastic catching up with you and learning more about Yarder Collective. So that's it from the Tuesday Talk Show, Series 6, Episode 3. We'll see you here next time on the Tuesday Talk Show. Bye for now.
Bye.